at the meetings, so they know what's going on, but if they're gonna be assessed or not, depending on. what they
Yes,
have.
I think if you, sorry. So I think, we're starting right
These
away
are
with
not the big
electrical.
buildings.
No, I know, but he's starting right away with the electrical on Allamanda one, which will be a big help for pressure wise. Other than that, I promise you, if you trusted us and you let us move forward with the development of the schedule, these guys, I don't think have ever made any commitment to the county yet, right? Bamboo one, Bamboo two, besides Allamanda one.
But we have issues with bamboo, and we have issues with Allamanda.
Right, so if you let us go through the scope, and you let us be involved in the meetings with the county, I'm almost positive, we can almost assure you that you're not gonna get any violations on those buildings if they see everything moving,
The issues on the buildings are electrical.
Yeah, and we
Which
tear
one?
demolished
So
on the
Allamanda
electrical for
one,
the
Bamboo
Allamanda.
three.
Alright.
The issues they need to get fixed, they need to be done is the electrical issue.
But that's just.
but they don't know what they are.
But,
Yeah, but the
hold
thing
on a
is,
minute.
there's more to that.
Yeah.
Because of the time that they've taken,
Right.
now, they had said, but now,
Tuesday is taking a while.
months a week. Now we can go ahead and deal with Spencer, maybe it's different. They had said that because of the time, that then there should be structural, also,
Yeah, here's
That's
a,
Allamanda one, they want the
here's,
structural.
here's how I understand it, okay? So the priorities is Allamanda one and Bamboo three. That still doesn't mean that they don't want Allamanda
No,
two,
I understand.
Allamanda three and Bamboo one, because it was never finished for the 40-year requirement.
Right. Well, I'm getting confused when you start.
do you wanna go Monday to the county and you can speak
No,
to them yourself? I mean,
If they're gonna get any of
I'll
this,
go.
plus other stuff.
What I'd like to do is I'd like to come up with a pre-construction I'd like you guys to approve us to move forward. I'd like to come up with a pre-construction schedule, then I would like to schedule, we'll have Goslin already working on the electrical, that'll be a big deal. And then I would like to schedule a meeting with the county, I'd like to go in and give them our plan, let them know what our plan is, and possibly schedule a follow-up so that they see that we're progressing, just like the way we started doing it in the beginning of this project.
By the end of June, Goslin will be finished with my building, my 40-year will be done. So then we can go right in and show them everything that at least we have on buildings done.
Well, they'll wanna see that our electrical engineer signed off on it for you, that's what they're gonna wanna see, I think, probably.
Does it
Well,
take
And the
weeks?
progress of the actual.
Once you get the final on the inspection, you can sign off, anyone can sign off.
When are you starting Allamanda?
Well, I'm here to ask you guys what building you want me to start on. I'm going away for 3.5 weeks, June 16th. So,
We'll be back?
within that time, I'll be back July 14th. Within that time, you let me know when I can leave you as a crew of 2 people to start a building while I'm gone. Like I said, it's gonna be a soft launch. You tell me, you want me to do Allamanda 1, I'll do Allamanda 1. You want me to do East Lily, I'll do East Lily.
Are you capable of, are you gonna be capable with your
What's
current
the
workload of
deadline
doing
on
everything
the
that you're gonna need?
I can do a building.
December.
I don't have the manpower now while I'm gone to supervise 3 crews right now.
But in 3 weeks, when you get back,
Yes, we can start back to
I
normal.
want a 3-week vacation. That's nice.
So I think you should start with Easter Lily.
Business and.
I think you should start with Easter Lily because it's right here, and you're not gonna be here, and I'm right here.
Good?
And then when you come back, you have to do Allamanda one, there's just no
Sure.
question.
You wanna start next week?
And if you can do Allamanda one,
Goslin's been at the starting block since the last time I was here.
What
He's
is
been
holding,
ready.
what is holding back Goslin from starting, anything?
nothing, you
Yeah.
can go to Easter
Well,
Lily, we
what's
established
holding
that
it
an
from
hour ago.
starting is the contract. As soon as they remove me, then I can have you start. So if I can get that done between now and Wednesday,
He's gonna,
Remove,
you can have your
carousel to issue the new contract.
when
Right.
you issue the new contract, because other than that, I can't have you start.
Fine,
because
this is
I'm
what we'll
not-
do. In case this thing drags on, and
It's
I
not.
and I leave,
It's not gonna drag.
what you need to do is just email me a set of apartments that you want done. I'll forward it to my
she's
guys.
not gonna send you anything, I will. You'll get
Okay.
what you need, don't worry
Fine.
about it.
Perfect.
Moving on.
As long as well,
Perfect. I just want to know.
except 111,
From
111.
Allamanda, from Easter Lily or Allamanda?
You'll get it.
He goes to Allamanda one, then Bamboo three, correct?
No, here's what we're gonna do. He's gonna do Easter Lily, and when he comes back, he's gonna be working 2 crews, and he's gonna do Allamanda one and Bamboo three at the same time.
Right. I
Because
don't
once he
have a
does
signed
Easter
contract.
Lily, I'm gonna be monitoring that. He's gonna be away, but he's gonna be accessible. It's not a big deal.
I have to check. Do I have a contract for Bamboo 3? I have to.
I don't know. We need to look and what
Yeah,
it is you need to
I
do.
think
But I'm
we-
pretty sure we do
we
because
signed
she
that.
asked
Yeah,
me for
okay, I have
that.
to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Alright, do you guys need me for anything? 'Cause
No,
I
you
need to
don't.
go for another meeting.
Go ahead.
Take care.
And that, what he's doing on bamboo might end up only being partially what needs to be done, by the way, he's doing the interiors.
Good. See you guys later.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Good travels. Okay, well, Tom.
As far as I understood, our pool schedule
Your what? I can't hear you. Hold on one second. Guillermo, can you guys go back there? I can't hear Susan and I'm still recording. Sorry.
We are doing all of this, we're doing the slabs, and we have to do this for fences and all of this sort of thing. And this is not too heavy, it's on them. And then you're gonna have to dig up the house. I know
saying the
that
piping is bad?
the disaster.
You have to
That's it, okay.
I can't take the
The
noise.
pool, right, it's not just a basic slab, I mean, there are pipes underneath and whatever. And they're rusted and they're bad, okay, they've been in, whatever, when they built this place. So, my concern is we have to do the slabs, we have to do the fencing, we have to do all of that, right? And hypothetically speaking,
Maybe, I don't know that, but yeah.
yeah, maybe, hypothetically, just to add to all this, they have to fix the pools, meaning digging up all these pools and all that, and what's happening to our fences and our slabs.
No.
It doesn't matter because we don't have the money to do it.
You don't have to dig up your pool.
If you did all the digging up and everything, and there was real deficiencies in the pool, I mean, it would be a
There was a
marginal
report
cost
once,
to do
that's
this,
right. There
repair.
was a report made already, somewhere there's a report. Somewhere.
So my point is, if we assessed and said, hey, you know what, you do have to dig this up, then it would turn into a marginal cost to do some replacement on some piping, well, it's already dug up. If you gotta dig up just for the piping, that's a different story.
Okay, so, alright, so, obviously I'm not efficient in any of this conversation, as you can know. So is that a possibility, let's just put that in as a marginal thing, I will check on that while we're doing all that.
Are you talking about the piping and the electrical in the pool?
That is something you can actually start on now. You can have somebody pressure test your plumbing, see if there's any leak.
I would recommend that because I'm telling you, it's gonna be like a snow.
So why don't you and I schedule an appointment with Tropical Pools, cause he can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You want it done at Bamboo, Diana?
Yeah, of course.
basically to. Camille, you want to?
I'm just gonna do all of them.
All the pools.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
talked to Larry
Yeah, I wanna-
now, he hasn't here. He was here, I was talking to him.
We're not worried about it.
So, is there any movement that you have on, is there any requirement for the tower? Not yet.
Let's go it up.
Okay, so here's the deal.
The tower,
I'll let you tell
How
me
much
in
is
a
a
second.
tower, how
The
much is something
tower-
like that to demolish?
the tower.
$12 million.
We need to add the generator and that diesel. and
The fire pump system where the kids.
All that has to be, we need also for you to get the elevator
Already have bids
and
on
the
the
fire.
elevators.
There's a lot of stuff for the fire, for the tower that needs to be done. But,
So who's developing that stuff? You guys have it developed?
No. You gave us a bid on that, developing this stuff. I have to get that signed and approved.
but did we get the big
That's what
round?
the bid, that's one of the bid work orders. you
No, I
just-
guess that's my point, so we're
It's
putting
just
the
not
cart
the
in front of the
priority
horse.
at the moment because we don't have the notice, but what they did tell us is that you need to start preparing. I started getting bids last year. We just have to get them updated for your scope when you put it together. Not everything, but a lot of stuff I did. And the reason is because they told us, what they told me when I went down there the first time, that it's gonna be coming up probably the end of this year, meaning the first notice will go out, so then you're gonna get an extension on that one, because they have to have a timeline of when it's gonna be done. If not, because that thing isn't occupied, they said they would tear it down.
And you,
So you gotta come up with a plan.
Tear it down.
so do you wanna
No.
wait until you get the notice and then
No.
have, the problem with that tower is it's a lot more complicated than this restoration work. The tower is gonna be more complicated, there's gonna be interior modifications and stuff you want. I would say that, I don't, at least get the evaluation performed the sooner than later, and that way.
That's why we asked for the bid. That was the whole reason,
Okay, so, but my point is, if you get the evaluation done, and we know the scope, then you're not guessing at the scope of work, because that's what you're doing right now, you're guessing at the scope of work. This needs to be done, this needs to be done, and then you're gonna end up having to go, details of it, but there's,
Just
portions
because
of
the
it.
board is gonna have to discuss it anyway.
Let me ask you, curious, Isn't there asbestos in there as possible?
No, it's not.
But what do you mean, no, it's not?
The only thing I can tell you is,
It's concrete thing
I will tell
held in there, glued to it, I mean. it's-
Susan, I'll tell you this.
What do you tell me?
There was
It's scary
there was
building.
somebody that put in a contractor package over the past couple of weeks, and I was looking at one yesterday, I believe, and the GC over that renovation, and all he was doing the cabinets and the kitchen and whatever. But before he lets his crews work in any units that are a certain number of years old, he has, a license for asbestos testing. He tests every single unit he works in for asbestos. And the units that he was in, and he was working in, I think, 2 or 3 here, no asbestos.
So you mean telling me that the
I'm not
tower,
telling you
the
anything,
tower
I'm telling
cannot
you
have
what he found
asbestos
was
in it,
nothing, so
some
there's.
1960s, even the paint they use those days and all that.
I didn't.
Okay,
They
I
probably
will
was-
say differently. I was pulling stuff from the county, and there's actually some papers showing that there was asbestos on one of the buildings, I think it was bamboo, by the doors. I'm not 100% sure, but it was one of those, I think it was, the door frame had.
I don't remember which building it was, I looked at that, but I
They
just
did
know that
Kevin
it was-
before, I remember before we changed the door.
No, but I'm saying,
I'm talking about.
the county, okay, they did something, and the county had something, and it was like the frame of I think, of one of the units.
They have to test it anyway.
I probably have copies, I have to look at it.
But I think
But it's
before
in
anybody
public
does work
records,
on a demolition on a building,
Somebody's got a permit.
Right.
they need to pull, they need to go and do an asbestos check and run it through and give it to Durham. So that's what they do. That was Carousel, I think, that did that.
No, that one was
Maybe not for
done
bamboo.
that one was from a few years back, before our.
Okay, so, any more questions on Allamanda Bamboo? Perry, do you have any questions?
No? He's tired, he's sleeping.
Listen,
When do you think we
and
can?
in Canada, asbestos is the dead bird's name. You don't understand how precise they about it, okay? Like the word asbestos, your house is no longer yours, baby, okay? I don't want to street. So I'm just kind of curious about those old ceilings.
It's the same way here, if you get asbestos, you have to have it
And so it's better
take it away
for-
to safe harbor, so you have to have a contractor come in, bang everything
I'm
out,
just
negative
teasing
pressure.
you. because I
Can you
did
take
that the
all
other
building
time,
down,
so I
guys?
got it.
Where in Canada?
Trump.
Oh.
Toronto?
Oh.
See, that's the difference between
Alright.
that.
Actually, I do have a question, Carol.
Okay.
Then you say Toronto.
Susan,
Oh,
Harry
right.
has a question.
Well, I grew up, sorry.
Okay,
No, I was gonna ask more, first of all, thank you for explaining everything, I appreciate it.
Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise. As far as the expenses is concerned, are we gonna have a budget meeting or a discussion for each group, or particularly Allamanda, for the expenses related to this
Yes.
40-50 year
Yes,
certification?
Yes, we are.
Hey, when they give us the
And-
scope of work, then they're gonna have a meeting with Allamanda Group, and so that way you guys
And
can do
Bamboo
your
too.
budget.
Right.
Whichever group.
And as far as getting their contract set up, as far as for them providing their services, when are we gonna do that?
For who providing the services?
For Hillman.
Based on the timeline and what happened with the electrical from the 40-year, the executive board went to the board members of each condo group, and because of the timeline that it has to be completed, I wanna make sure I'm saying this clearly, and correct me if I'm wrong, they went ahead and verbally and in an email agreed to use Hillman, because they're already here and they know the property, and they had done some work last year on bamboo. So the Allamanda, agreed as well, majority.
And we do next
So-
work.
So they're gonna go ahead and contract with them for the engineering because of the timeline. They really don't have time to bid it out. Because we're already since the extension, a month or 6 weeks behind now.
We're due December, everybody except for Daisy's January.
Yeah. So they're gonna be using Hillman. They're bidding out the general contractor, which is what they were just talking about. Anything else?
Are you concerned with that?
Yeah, I'm absolutely 100% concerned with that, because we know the timeline. I mean, I don't want to rehash what I said before previously, but we have plenty of time to talk about this. And obviously, this is going to be a very big expense. And we don't have a clear budget as of right now. and then we're gonna now budget or special assess for these additional expenses. And you're telling me that we're making agreements by email.
No, there's nothing signed.
I have no approval to move forward on any of your buildings, so you.
Right. So, right. So,
But the executive.
so then how do we
board-
do this? This
Okay,
is
here.
my question. This is the
The
question.
executive board can exercise their right without even asking the board members, which they elected.
They
not
can?
to. Sure they can, because this is a time-sensitive thing. If it delays, it costs the association more, which is the whole thing that we just did at the county, was removing fines and violations as a result of something not being done right. Now that it's a time-sensitive issue, so to act in the best interest of the association, you can confirm this with Sean, confirm it with Mercedes, whoever. They have to do what's best for the association. The only thing that's been decided on for Allamanda and Bamboo right now, and I know your concern is Allamanda, is that they would use Hillman Engineering just to get the scope.
You spoke to each board.
I guess that was the question, are you concerned with
That
that?
was the question.
I'm concerned with the process. I'm concerned with the process and how we get to this point, or not get to this point. Because as of right now, we don't have anything, and
Well, we
I just
could-
don't like the method in which we are approving, ratifying,
Harry.
you know, agreeing to terms without advising the unit owners of that particular group. No discussion, nothing disclosed, nothing shared.
Okay, so Harry.
And I've been raising my hand on this for a long time, yes?
Okay.
So, you know, if you tell me an
One of the
executive board can make decisions, I don't see
There's an
how.
emergency, life safety.
Emergency is when a building's falling.
Let me finish.
An emergency is a building falling.
I got you.
That's
But
the
let
only
me-
emergency we're talking
Can I
about.
finish?
I just want to be clear what an emergency
I know what
is.
emergencies are.
A building's falling or on fire. That's an emergency.
I know what an emergency is.
I'm sorry, let me
Okay.
interject. That's his definition of an emergency.
All right, show me another one. Show me a better one.
Okay, Harry, can I finish what I was?
Show me a better definition if you want to interject.
Because I'm not here to argue, I would really like to.
I'm not here to argue either, but
I'd like
let's.
to finish what I want.
You're saying emergency. I'm saying what an emergency is.
No, it was
You'll be
one
finished
of the,
by now, yeah.
Allah, please, let me speak. Number one, it was one of the statements that I made, it was one of the words in that. If there's a life safety issue, if there's an emergency, or if we have to act aggressively on a timeline. The reason things got delayed was not because of this board. The things that got delayed to keep construction from moving forward was because the electrical was taken out of the Allamanda 40 year, and it froze up everything and
Yes.
construction halted. And that's why we spent endless hours, days and night and weekends, pulling
Yeah.
information together to go down there multiple times to meet with the county to get everything unfrozen, to be able to get an electrical permit filed for Allamanda so that would stop everything so we could move forward. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So in saying that, when you lose that much time, it took us what, 2 months?
Because that was done, the electrical was removed by the previous board president. They were removed at a construction meeting, it didn't even go in front of the board. And that's what upset me, because it was removed after we had assessed. It was removed without me or Guillermo, which was the one who was in between, he didn't even know about it. So, and I'm just speaking for East Lily, and I know that everything else was part of it.
Daisy too, the same.
I understand, and that's why it's upsetting that today I'm still sitting here trying to get my damn 40 years done. Or actually every other 40 years, and then we had to ask for another extension because we got notices demolished or repaired, especially for Allamanda 1660. I'm actually putting Allamanda before my building, even though I want my building first.
So twice the electrical was pulled
And it's
from
already
the
upsetting.
40-year requirements. The first time in Allamanda and Bamboo,
Mhm.
and then this time around. And whoever was involved, and I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, I
I
just
will,
think that
I'll
people
point fingers.
people believed what they heard.
Well, the only
But
two people
hold on,
here,
let me finish.
no,
People
I'm not
believe-
gonna let you finish. The only two people here at that meeting, besides, our vendors, was Magdi and Eva,
Yes.
okay? And
Let me-
Goldie signed up.
The
Let me
people-
speak. I want to speak on the electrical because I know what you're alluding to.
No, we're not alluding, we're saying
No.
it straight out, it's not Lucy.
Because,
Let me say something, because I wanted to say this while I'm thinking about it, because everybody's gonna start talking and I'll forget what I wanna say. The electrical was removed the first time.
What do you mean
It was
that-
removed the second time. I'm not pointing fingers, I'm just saying it was removed.
Yes.
People did what they believed at the time, what they were supposed to do, okay?
Mhm.
They believed that they did what they were supposed to do, to save the association money. It didn't save money, it cost money,
More money.
okay? So twice it was removed. And the second time around, it was done as she said it was done. So that's what delayed everything, that's what ceased everything, because it was supposed to be done. And during that time, I said, Sean said, and Hillman said, this is gonna bite you in the end. It's gonna get you in the end. You need to do this. It's gonna get you in the end. The people that were in those construction meetings heard it. It was said multiple times. It didn't happen. I just said, I would do it. I would do whatever you have to do, the minimum. Sean said it, they said it multiple times. It didn't happen.
Because
And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just the manager. But I know, based on my experience and what I thought and what I figured when it was going on, and I was listening to them, they're the experts, is exactly what happened. And this is where we ended up.
I'm sorry, just to clarify, just to be clear, when you say electrical is removed, you're
Yes.
referring to the GFCIs that were required in the units that Magdi met with the county?
Carousel's contract.
yes.
We never had a contract with Carousel.
I'm not talking about you, I'm talking
Oh.
about Camilla 1, Camilla 2.
I'm talking about Allamanda, I'm talking about Allamanda though.
Allamanda 1, the first time
Mhm.
around before my time,
Yes.
the 40-year recertification was never issued for your building.
I understand that.
Okay,
I know.
because the electrical was removed. Then the second time
That's where you
for
lose me.
Camille.
That's where you lose me when you say remove. I don't know what you're referring to
Okay, hold on,
remove.
hold on, hold on.
You know-
That's what I don't understand.
Okay.
When, and I don't know either who was doing the 40-year recertification or whatever, have you. Magdi felt that we could save money.
Yes.
By having one go in.
Yes.
To the electrical room and take all the cables and label them individually and do that.
Yes.
And also, I don't remember specific, but I know there was some talk about the GFIs in the common areas and that sort of thing.
In the unit, in the
Unfortunately,
units.
right, unfortunately, there was no one to sign, this is what Maggie didn't understand. That the 40-year, the people at the 40-year want someone to certify that this is done properly. Someone with the proper initials
An
behind the
engineer,
name.
an
Yeah,
engineer.
And no one was willing to certify work that was done by one in this fashion. So therefore, we've moved forward and we're like, okay, we need to finish the electrical because somehow there was a consensus that people thought that they passed every building except one and somehow they wouldn't have noticed that fell through the cracks. So then now fast forward, we're like, okay, well, you know, we've already done this work, the work was done inside the room and blah, blah, blah. And we're like, okay, great, certify it. So we have no one to certify it because they're not gonna certify it, you know? So that's where we're at, we're stuck in, so I think it was, you know, a good intention solution at the time. It wasn't designed to hurt anybody, but it hurt us in the end.
But,
Well,
but I wanna be clear, I wanna clarify that.
Please.
How about
No,
But I
because
got-
I want to say something.
May I?
Everybody.
May I? The thing is, and I told you this before, I have spent many conversations with Magdi. Magdi insisted that the 40th can go into the 50th. I said, well, I don't know much about this, but I know that we are in trouble. How can it go? He says, it's not a problem.
Mhm.
That's when this final disaster started. But I
What
still have the
disaster, what
paper.
disaster?
Well, the final
The abolish and when all.
violation is so bad. But I still, and I showed you that paper, and you were involved in here, because when I became a board director, which is what, now 4 years ago, $27,000
Yes.
would have cost
Yes.
us to do the certification for Allamanda
Yeah,
one.
just, no,
Yes,
that's
I
not
have
accurate
that.
though, that's
Yeah,
not accurate. See, this is what I
No,
want.
no, no,
Guys.
because.
Allah, please, Allah, let me just talk about, this is Allamanda business. I
No,
wanna talk
one
about.
second, I want to tell you. Hillman give proposal, pay $27,000 for
I
your
have
radio.
the paper.
Magdi say, no,
I know.
no, we
Here's,
won't
but just to clarify, because just to, I wanna clarify.
Use somebody else.
Blame it on
That's what it
Magdi.
is. Well,
What I want to say is this: what Magdi attempted to do, or what Magdi actually did, was go to the county and try to get clarification as far as do we need to in fact install these GFCIs inside the units.
Yes, I remember.
The answer was no.
Correct, only for
The-
exposed.
hold on,
stereo-
can I speak, please?
Did he get it in writing?
Right. The answer was no. That is, I don't know what he got in writing, what he didn't get in writing. I know I was there though. I just happened
And
to
I-
be
and I
there.
remember
I was
that.
there on some other business, and he was at the meeting. I was like, oh, and I listened, and I heard him, and I heard the guy say it's not needed.
But
I mean, I
Harry,
witnessed this.
As an experienced
Ho-
expediter.
Hold on. Let me just get this out.
You
Let me
know
just-
what they say means nothing.
But let me
unless
get
you
this
it in
out.
writing.
But no, but I believe Magdi was correct, and so was the assessment that was issued by the inspector at the time, because those GFCIs are not required for the 40-year certification. What is in fact required is an engineer to come and certify the conditions. Now, if in order for the engineer to certify the conditions, if he feels that it requires GFCIs, then we have to install those GFCIs to make the building certifiable.
Okay,
So Magdi was told that wasn't for the county.
So what-
That's not needed.
okay, so let's agree.
Hold on. So what we should have had, and what I believe what we should have had was an engineer giving us a report as far as what's needed to certify the building.
Okay.
Now, did we ever get this report?
Ask Magdi. I'm
asking you, did we ever get this report? We
Here's
never got the report.
But the problem is this, Harry, that Magdi, I'm sorry, can you guys wanna have a side conversation? When he went and he got this clarification, whatever it was, and it needed to be done, right?
They
From
didn't
my
need to be done.
Okay, from my conversations with Magdi, not hearsay, Magdi's attitude has always been, you get an extension to get an extension. You don't get an extension to fix the problem. So at that particular time, he was the one that was heading everything for construction, everything for legal, and he didn't follow through on getting that report. So here we are today trying to fix that. He was the one, you didn't even see me come to a construction meeting.
Well, actually,
Wait.
what Harry
This-
said is not incorrect. What he said is correct. The part where it gets, and I was part of a conversation where they were actually saying, hey, I'll give you the.
Because I said it before.
Well, the conversation that they have is, it really boils down to what the certifying engineer decides you need to do.
100%.
It's subjective. The city takes no liability for what the guy
Right.
signs off on. And as a matter of fact, the previous engineer that did the work here, he also said you need GFCI. So
He said that, yes.
But Magdi said we
And that's why I believed it too. Since 2008 until now, I believe that we did need that.
But-
Magdi was the one that went and said, well, let's verify if we in fact do need that. And he went to the county and I was there.
I get it,
And
but
the
it
inspector
means-
said, no, you don't.
But it means nothing.
Well,
It means
But-
nothing.
All right, but this gets us back to the point where we need an engineer to give us a report.
So,
Let him finish.
so what we did is, we do have requirements for you to pass. And my conversation with them was, they are gonna go down the list, they're gonna say, hey, minimum requirement. And for
Right.
instance, they go, you don't need to look at anything inside the unit. I said, well, what about the smoke detectors? And they're like, well, you can go in the unit and look at the smoke detectors and you can turn your head about everything else. No engineer worth their salt is gonna do that. You're gonna go in it's not on the list of requirements that you need to do, but what they also don't say is that it's subjective to the inspecting engineer. So whatever the inspecting engineer says you're required to do, you can find somebody that doesn't require it. That would be an option. You find an engineer that does not require.
A friendly engineer, right?
No, we're friendly.
I'm just saying friendly, like in the sense that he doesn't have a high standard, in other words.
That's a
Right.
better way to say it.
Right.
That's a better way to say
A
it.
high standard, right.
An engineer without a high standard that's going on, basically just wants to collect your money and do what he needs to
And the
do.
building
We did
permits
provide a
and
report. The report was done in the form of a bid tabulation where we quantified and said all these things are required to be done for us to certify the building. So if those things would have been done, then Hillman Engineering would have then signed off on the thing. And it was, I think, about $27,000 worth of work. So if those things would have been done back then, and just, at the time,
We can't do it now?
Well, no, my point is, let's consider this too. At the time, you guys were in a different position than you are now. So there is no fault to anybody that did it. I would try not to blame anybody now, just move forward a little bit. So now we're in a little bit of a different position. We can go through, now we have to reassess it because it's been 4 years since we did it. Hopefully a lot of the stuff that was done, if it's done and it's done properly, our inspectors aren't even gonna see it. It's gonna look like it's done and
That
it's
is done
done
properly.
Well, we haven't done no work. Well, we did.
Some stuff
We
was
used
done.
Juan, our so-called engineer, who did work that wasn't certifiable, right?
Right.
So this is where we make the mistake with people like Juan,
Yeah,
okay?
but
We rely on these
No,
people
but
who
let
are
me- Listen, let me
unreliable.
tell you something.
It doesn't make
No,
sense, you know?
You need
Harry,
a
let
licensed
me, I'm sorry,
electrician, that's what you should
let me
do.
just tell you
A
this.
certified
Harry, let me just tell you,
licensed
because we're going
electrician.
through this right now, and I need to put this out there. I never relied on Juan, and I kept saying, if Juan dies or something happens to Juan, you know, where are we gonna be? But what keeps happening now is, when we call an outside person to do work here at JWA's, we get, I can't even tell you how many degrees of people going, why are you calling a professional? We have ASI employees that can do that. No, they can't. They're not licensed to do anything.
Who says that? Who says
Oh
that?
my God.
Wait.
There's so many.
Who with weight
Larry
says that?
says that. That's one guy that
We
says
cannot-
that. But
Yeah.
besides that,
Did you
no.
say Larry said
Besides that,
I'm talking about Allamanda. Forget
I'm
Larry,
talking
because
about
Larry
Allamanda.
doesn't affect
I'm telling
Allamanda.
you,
I wanna
I
know
am
about
telling
Allamanda,
you
because
that
this is my
I
concern.
am
It's always
telling
been
you
my concern.
that we get complaints on a regular basis. On a regular basis, saying that we're spending money on outside contractors when we have in-house people that should be able to do it, okay? We have work done here that we end up having to redo, like plumbing problems and situations, because the people that we have working here are not capable of doing it. And once they screw it up, and they screw up a whole line, and we have floods, then we have restoration and this and that and the other. And every step that we take is a fight. So meanwhile, going back to, and I'm sorry with the blame and the this and the blame, you know, sometimes people do things well-intentioned. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. But at the end of the line, not only does Magdi make those decisions, he makes sure that if you don't agree with his decision, he will make sure to get you out of the way, because until very recently, he's the one that led the construction meeting, and he's the one that led the legal meeting. And until we stopped that, we were getting nowhere, we weren't settling anything, and we weren't getting anywhere, and we're not getting anywhere now. Okay? Because that thought process has to stop. There are things we have to spend money on. And you're right, I did a walkthrough the other day with Susan and Tulio of Allamanda, and it was, you saw me doing it, okay? And I sent it to Carol, and Carol's doing another walkthrough, and it's sad and unnecessary for the building to be in the condition that it's in. But we can't every single time that we're gonna spend a penny say, we don't have to do that, we don't need a shower and the thing, we don't need this, we're not there anymore.
But this is, all right, and I have to touch on this, because this is why it's so important that when we have these meetings, in particular budget meetings, that we talk about these upcoming expenses, that the unit owners are fully aware of what we're facing ahead of us, and the money is gonna be required to fix it properly. Not that we're cutting corners and hiring ASI to do a job.
People showed up from Allamanda.
But wait, don't say none, please. Don't say none, okay,
You're
but,
the only one that shows up.
and I wasn't the only one, there was other people here at that meeting as well. But we never got into this topic, let me tell you. Mind you, we never got into this.
Who led the meeting?
It's not on the
Who led the
budget.
meeting?
I don't know.
Yes, you
But
did.
we did
Who
it.
led the meeting?
I don't know, what are you telling?
Matt,
Maggie
you
led the
remember
meeting.
everything, but you don't remember that?
I don't remember who led the meeting. I remember there was a meeting. I don't-
Yes, as you say.
Well,
What are you talking, don't, please, save the extras.
I don't have an extra.
I just don't remember, if I don't remember who damn led the meeting, how am I supposed to answer that question?
We're being unproductive.
I know,
We're being
but-
uncivil.
I wanna answer his question
But-
about the percent.
Hold on, I wanna answer your question. When you said they should have done an inspection of the units and developed a report, and he said we did that, they did 20% inspection of the Camilla, 1, 2, and Daisy, and they came back with that report, and the things that she just said to you, they recommended to be done, and it was pulled out. So, I don't know who was on the board in Allamanda back in the day when you guys pulled it out the first time. Before my time, I don't care. I was just making a point that was pulled out twice, which is what caused the problem. Because when Allamanda didn't get their electrical done and you guys got that notice they post on the thing, the building, they did it in Allamanda 1 and Bamboo 3. And when they did that, it triggered them to freeze all construction because they said
I don't
10
agree with
years
that.
10 years past the 40 year,
Allamanda 1 and Bamboo 3 never got their 40-year electrical done.
That was pending. It needed to be resolved. It was
Right.
lingering there for a long time. Honestly, I think what triggered it is when Mercy started visiting the county
Oh
and
my
said,
God.
No, it was
this,
way before.
what I think, that's what I believe,
Well, can we?
that she said, we need to tie this all up. This is why we're all bundled up now.
She didn't
But,
go there until that happened.
but regardless,
She didn't go there until we found that out.
the issue of the 40, 50 has been lingering for a long time.
Right.
All we needed to
Doesn't
do was
matter.
get an engineer to come and certify the
The
40, 50.
reason
They could have
we-
done it, or anyone else could have done
The
it.
reason we even went was because it got frozen. She hadn't even been down there.
They
She'd only
haven't
been
been down
to
there.
2
How many
They
meetings.
wouldn't
years
let you
have
pull
been like
they wouldn't let you pull
No.
permits.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Right, because there was an expired permit in one of the units. I know,
No,
you
no.
see it online.
I came here so that we can get started on what
No, I know.
Harry needs, actually what he's requesting that we need to do. Because in order, and the only, I would like Harry on board with us when we start, because the only question that really is whether you want Hillman to go do that assessment. We're gonna do the assessment, we're gonna assess your buildings. We'll go through, just like I explained, the Allamanda building, we're gonna do an evaluation, and you're not gonna be able to know what your budget is until somebody does that portion of the work and provides you with a budget of what the scope of work is, recommendations, for instance, things that, we recommend that aren't necessary for the 40-year, we separate that from actual work that's required for the 40-year, and then you can have your budget, you'll have your scope of work, and then you can choose how to move forward from that point.
Can I suggest, I would ask, this is a suggestion and a request that, actually, you guys been here, you guys know the property, you work the manager, so it's probably a good idea if you guys do come on board, right? And continue the work, and do it with Allamanda at this point, because, right, we're under the gun. But also, just keep it to a minimum at this point around, right? Just to meet the minimum standard today. Get the certification, get out of that hole,
Right.
and then 10 years from now, because we have to do it again in another
That's the
10
plan.
years,
It's always
That's
been
a
the
plan.
right?
It's
But
always
I'm
been
just
the
saying, I
plan.
wanna put it out there, because if somebody says the plan, I wanna make sure that I
Well,
said
he's
it.
saying it more
So let's meet the
politely.
standard and get the certification, and then next time around, we go more into detail and bring it up to the code where it needs, where it's a better condition.
I mean, to say it more politely, he said it a lot more politely than I said, I don't even think that at this point we're interested in you giving us suggestions about anything else, we just want you to tell us what the minimum is to get this movie out.
So we don't have to go back on it and then we
Right.
can sign off.
Don't put the extra manpower, don't put the extra work into doing all of that.
Well
Tell us what
controlled.
the minimum
Waiting
is.
for the 50th.
And that's all they need, the minimum.
Right,
So
absolutely.
the electric
That's
construction, that's all you guys need. We just need to get it done.
Running around like
But I still have.
rabbits in a pit, round and round and round and round, to resolve nothing. Because you don't have the proper leadership.
Then you can have it, and you do what you want with it.
And that's why.
Blaming
One
people
thing about
on
the
doing
Yeah,
it.
that's-
Number
yeah,
one.
that's-
Right, you ought to also recognize the errors that have occurred in the past. Was it intentional or not? That's besides the point. But you cannot get
Larry's
a-
making,
an engineer or a contractor, or a licensed contractor is really what's required to approve something that he didn't do or has no knowledge of determining whether it was done correctly or not.
So
So
now-
therefore you undergo an unexpected cost.
so,
GFI was only for exterior requirements, okay, not interior as originally thought or told to us. And Maggie needs to be credited for having found that out, and therefore we didn't have to undergo that cost. As far as the inspection of the interior electric boxes, which was done by Juan, and it had nothing to do with what Christina said, all right? That was to determine whether there was double tap wiring in reference to the
That's
control panels. And he did what Juan did, what he thought would save the condominium money,
I said
but it
that.
turned out that because he is not working under a licensed contractor, that a permit could not be pulled or that work could not be
Why
certified.
wouldn't they know that? That's obvious.
It's been done that way for 20 years. That Juan has done work without pulling
Larry.
a permit because he's not
Larry, what you're
licensed.
saying
He's
is
not
nonsense,
competent.
and I'll tell you why. We're doing a 40-year recertification, so what was done for 20 years is irrelevant, because you never
I've
did.
been involved with the
Well,
40-year
you know-
recertification since 2007. Don't tell me that. I
So
was
why
the
is
one
it
that
done?
went
Then you did a-
downtown to the building department to
Then you
get
did
the
a
sign,
terrible job, 'cause it wasn't
repair or
finished.
demolish from
I'm just
bamboo.
tired. I'm
You
tired.
know, you
I'm
think you
tired.
know, but you don't
I'm
know.
tired. If you were doing this all Saturday, it should be finished. You did a terrible job because it's not finished. Enough. All you do is cut
That
it
is
down.
your
Enough.
opinion about what you were not involved in.
What, is it finished? Is the
What
40
you need to
is
deal with
the-
today is what
Is
exists.
the 40-year finished?
And right now, you're
Larry,
looking for another
no,
maintenance
I'm not stopping,
supervisor
I'm tired.
who's not gonna have
Larry,
anyone over him
Larry.
that has a license.
Larry, is the 40-year finished? Is it finished?
Which 40-year
The
are
one
you
you
talking
started-
about?
The one you started in 2007, is it finished?
Is
No.
it finished?
Like, no.
Apparently, it's all under a master permit,
Yeah, okay.
so therefore it's not finished. But each building project, for the most part, has been completed to a
nothing-
certain extent.
And does
And
nothing for us.
it's not the previous individuals or board's fault, and you're not the Queen of Sheba.
Well, actually, not the Queen of Sheba, but everything you're saying. is
Think that you
completely
know
wrong.
what you're
I'm
doing,
just-
and I'm questioning
I
that
just-
ability.
Well,
Look, I'll tell you this,
I don't know
guys.
what, I don't know how that.
I am not coming to any meetings. If this is what the meeting is,
I mean a lot of board meetings.
This
guys,
is one
and-
person, this is one person talking, Christina.
Of
But
course.
he.
And-
Just
and
as
a
you're one
director.
person
But Harry,
talking,
but
just
Harry,
as she's
this
one
is every
person
meeting,
talking,
and
but at
we
least
got
talk
the
clearly and
unit owners
correctly.
don't wanna
He is
talk-
making a good point though, he
The
is
unit
clarifying, we have
Yeah.
to be clear, he is clarifying some of the things you
But-
did
but-
say, as far as what
but-
Maggie did or didn't do, or
Well,
Juan did or didn't do.
Maggie, I mean-
He is clarifying these
I-
things.
but I
I mean, a
said-
lot of statements were made that were just clearly inaccurate,
Harry.
okay? As far as what Maggie did down at the
No, they're
county,
not-
or what
they're
Juan
not
did here on the
inaccurate.
property,
They're
or the
not
reasons
inaccurate.
why, or
They're
who's
not
responsible.
inaccurate. They're actually true.
How many times have I warned
Larry
the board
clarified
about
that Juan was
Maggie?
doing this double tap thing for whatever reason, but I don't know what that has to do with
Everybody
the
knew
40.
all of
I'm
that.
gonna tell you guys
But
what's the problem.
you're tying it in with the
board
40, 50,
directors
I
are
don't know.
being kings, okay? That everybody's playing with knowledge, okay? They should know about roofing or plumbing or whatever, but boom, they know everything, okay? Me, I
Who's
tell
that?
you, but generally some board directors. So,
Who?
general, would you like
Ooh,
me to name?
yeah, I want a name.
But to
Everybody,
summarize,
the
bottom
board,
line- the
as
bottom
a
line
body.
to me is that when
Yes.
you don't know something, you hire a professional for it because
Exactly.
you're right. And
Yes.
so-
That's what I've been saying. This is why it's imperative that we have these meetings so they say, hey, we're
Right.
gonna hire Hillman Engineering, they're gonna give us a spec
Right.
report, and we're gonna bid on it, and we're gonna, it's gonna cost us $300,000.
Harry?
Yes,
can I
sir.
ask you a question? With all this arguing, where are we going?
No, it's no arguing, it's no, nobody, I'm not arguing anything.
What's the end result of what you want?
The
I'm not-
object here is to make
That
the
is
path
something.
forward. We're constantly talking about the path.
Deal with what exists, but do
But
it
Harry,
correctly.
I'll tell you that I talked to unit owners.
Yeah, right.
And to other people, and you know.
Right, you hired a maintenance supervisor without even notifying the board or
Okay,
giving
you
the
know,
board an
so-
opportunity.
Christine, you wanna blame everybody else?
No, I don't wanna.
Blame him, blame Magdi, blame me.
Have I blamed you?
No, but I'm just saying, I'm next, right? It's my, right?
No,
So.
what I'm trying to tell you is one thing I know is what I don't know. Whenever they talk about numbers, I go, sorry, I don't understand spreadsheets, I don't understand numbers, okay? What I do for a living is this, all day, every day, okay? I come in to the construction meeting when all this went awry, and I'm listening to what's going on, and I realize that it's not correct. So all I care about, I don't care about how it was done incorrect, because at the end, everybody's leave for volunteer, right? So however it got done, it got done. Here we are today, and we're still arguing about it, because you people are
Not
upset,
arguing,
wait,
no.
you people are upset because we keep pointing out to Magdi, or to Eva, or to whoever it was, but nobody has a problem every day continuously attacking the board now, the manager now, because we don't get anything done, because we don't do it right, because we're this, because I'm the Queen of Sheba, but the point of the matter is that doesn't get anything done. And I will say that whether, you don't have to agree with me, I will say that in the past year and a half, we have accomplished a lot of things, and the idea is to accomplish more. But it's very hard to accomplish anything. It's just like a dog. If you keep kicking the dog, it's gonna bite you. And that's all we get. On a regular note, on a regular, is kick, bitch, complain, moan. When we finally started the ASI lawsuit, and everybody was congratulating, the only thing that came out of Magdi's mouth is, it's thank you to Rolfie. Never, meanwhile, Rolfie calls me up and says thank you to me. So it's just,
Sorry.
it's eliminating. It's
You're
hard
dominating
to
the
get
conversation incorrectly. This is not a
to get
residential
anything done.
complex,
You understand?
which you don't seem to understand. You
And
have
it
to
just-
deal with it
Today
differently.
they asked me, can you come to the meeting? I stopped what I'm doing, I came for a little while, I walk into, there isn't a meaningful discussion about
just
what
wanna-
we're
It's always
going.
I just
somebody
wanna say
else's
this, that
fault. I know.
I do wanna be, I've been saying this repeatedly, I wanna be involved in the Allamanda business, I wanna help you, I can probably help a little bit in this area. But I think we need to have very specific Allamanda meetings to discuss Allamanda business, and then we need to have them also open and transparent, and make the decisions taking consideration of the unit, and not executive boards agreeing to agreements with firms and
Every single
contractors.
building agreed to that.
May I
We didn't
interject
agree to that.
and
It's not on the
speak to
budget.
your
Excuse me one
point?
second, please. Harry, to
Because
address-
she doesn't want me to talk. In
Harry,
fact,
to
that I might
address
say
what you-
something
to address what you're
that
saying.
undermines her authority.
Last week, I had a conversation with Carol, and I said, you know what, Carol, this whole time that I've been president, I've been worried about all the other, everybody's building, but I haven't been looking at Allamanda. I said, and the Allamanda board really isn't doing, isn't getting Susan and this one, and they're like this, and there's no consensus. And I said to her, I'm gonna schedule a walkthrough, and my agenda going forward is to work with Allamanda. I wanna do that, I wanna do a list, and then I wanna have an Allamanda meeting. Because I would rather have an Allamanda meeting, not have COT, because it's just not getting done. And I think your input is invaluable, and I wanna work with you, not against you, but we gotta move forward.
No, I agree. We gotta do it. I mean, it has to get done. Let's just do it smartly, openly, and efficiently. Most important, efficiently.
One smart way to do it.
Gotta
is
chop your costs down a little.
hire a contractor, or hire us, get us our evaluation, and then, do what we recommend, and if something goes wrong, do what other boards do. They listen to what the recommendations of the professionals that they hire. When something goes wrong, they point at us and say, it's your fault, it's none of our fault, your fault, the contractor's fault, none of our fault, you fix it. And that's what I get from other boards at other places. They say, hey, they take our recommendation, and when that recommendation's wrong, boom, we get hammered for it.
Exactly, yeah.
And then their attorneys, who they